This is the Casual Wrestling Daily Show. I am the Notorious Nerdy D, the voice and defender of the casual wrestling fans, and each and every day I sit down to talk about the 5 things I want to discuss in pro wrestling, be it reviews, news, or just what's bothering me. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with at least one of your friends. Housekeeping this week, we are going to tighten up the show a little bit. Might be a little bit more fast-paced, might be a little bit quicker to change topics and transitions. That's because we are preparing to start going live on YouTube and TikTok. I am still working out a couple of the streaming issues, but we are on the right path right now. And the way I want the show to work in the future is the first 10 minutes is going to be me dropping my 5 biggest thoughts about pro wrestling, and then transitioning from there to YouTube super chats, YouTube chats, and TikTok chats to see what you guys think about it and get a back and forth going. So if this week it seems like maybe I'm kind of speeding through the topics, it's because I'm prepping for a new format. So let's jump right into it with topic number 1. Let's start with the big news from this weekend. Ricochet gave notice to the WWE that he intends to leave the company when his contract runs out. But I'm sorry. I don't see what the big deal is here. I don't see why this is news. I don't see why anybody cares that Ricochet is leaving WWE. Outside of my fears that means we lose Samantha Irvine, I'm not worried about another 5'9" wrestler who flips around with no gimmick and no personality running off and joining AEW. Like, Ricochet can't get over because this isn't Las Vegas. This isn't Circus Soleil. Now, all of a sudden, we've got the IWC running around on Twitter yelling out that Ricochet is the greatest wrestler of all time, that he's top 5 in the world. Top 5 at what? Top 5 at losing? Top 5 at not getting over? He doesn't have a gimmick. Flipping around cannot be your gimmick. He's not a world title guy. He doesn't pass the airport test. Thank you for that term, Sledge. But he was just a blip on the radar. We're not going to miss Ricochet once he's gone. Do we enjoy having him around? Sure. Love having Ricochet around. But he doesn't move the needle. I am okay with Ricochet going to join the AEW circus with all of the other 5'9" guys that do flips. He can go join the Young Bucks. He can go join the Will Ospreys. He can just become another one of the boys in a company where they all do the same thing. Guys have ceilings, and Ricochet had a ceiling, and he has to break through that ceiling in order to get over with fans. You cannot just be the guy who flips around. You have to be creative enough to stand on your own 2 feet and get over with a WWE audience. Casual fans are not going to lose their shit when a guy flips around the ring. In WWE, Ricochet stood out at least because he was one of the few guys who flipped around. When you go to AEW, you become just another one of the flippy boys. But I guess what these guys are looking for, guys like Ricochet, they're looking for the recognition. I guess they want to go join AEW, and they want the IWC to jump on Twitter and talk about how much they love him and how they think he's a top 5 wrestler, all while these guys are not going to buy your merchandise. They're not going to buy tickets to come see you. They will YouTube your clips over and over and over, and you will become an indie darling YouTube sensation. But that's what you're going to be. You'll never climb to the top of the mountain. You jumped off the ride too early, Ricochet. And the reality is, it blows my mind how many of these guys are willing to make bad business decisions instead of just figuring out how you get over with a WWE audience and how you stand out. See you later, Ricochet. You can go do what you want to do. Go grab your bag of money. But the reality is, you're jumping off the ride too soon. And it's going to be downhill from here for you. So it looks like WWE is collecting more Samoans. I have a question, though. How long can this new bloodline work without a major star involved named Roman Reigns or The Rock? Because this just doesn't quite hit the same as it used to. How many times is WWE going to use Kevin Owens to try to keep the story moving forward? Don't get me wrong. I enjoy what the Bloodline 2.0 is. I can see what we're doing here, but I also understand that there's a clock ticking down with fans' interest. And when that clock reaches zero, if Roman Reigns or The Rock are not standing in that ring, I don't know what happens to the Bloodline. You've got Tama Tonga. You've got Tonga Loa. You've got some new guy named Hukaleo. You've got a guy named Jonathan Fatu. We're going to have to pass out program books so I can tell these guys apart because I don't know who is who. And I don't know why I'm supposed to care about any of these guys. For the same reasons I criticize AEW for not making me understand why I should believe in someone, this is beginning to happen with the Bloodline. You have to give me a reason to want to watch somebody like Tama Tonga that I've never watched before. And where the hell did Jimmy Uso go? Like, I need to understand what is going on with Jimmy Uso. Is Jey Uso still in the fold to be back as part of the Bloodline? I get it. I'm impatient. But casual fans are impatient. We can't stick around for long-term storytelling if we're not getting little juicy beats of something to keep us interesting. Like, where the hell did Jimmy Uso go? And what is the Bloodline's new purpose? Somebody's going to have to explain to me. Is the new Bloodline trying to take down Roman Reigns from the inside? Is the new Bloodline trying to get the title back from Cody Rhodes? Is The Rock actually in charge? Because now Solo Sikoa is the head of the table. Like, everyone talks about long-term storytelling. Like, it's this great thing. But the problem is, if you don't drop enough gems of knowledge to keep me interested long-term, the casual audience is going to lose interest fast, and they're going to change the channel if things drag on. Look at these QR codes. At this point, to the casual audience, these things have become comical. They're no longer, nobody's actually following this except a subgroup of a subgroup that is extremely into conspiracy theories, and they're just trying to figure out everything this is. And I can tell you, the deeper that hole goes, the harder it's going to be to actually get the new Wyatt Six family over when they show up. And that's the way I feel about this new Bloodline is, the more people you add without actually making me give a shit, the harder it's going to be to sell me on the fact that we're having civil war. And on one side of the civil war is everybody I recognize and everybody I love. And on the other side of the civil war is a bunch of people that I have no clue what their actual meaning is to WWE. So Tony Khan is back on the dirt sheets this week crying about predatory business practices because WWE is telling reporters the wrong numbers for Collision's ratings. Does anybody notice how Tony Khan just loses it when the WWE does something and he turns into another member of the IWC? And this type of shit happens in every business, Tony. It's called competition. You're gonna have to get used to it. You could blame your little dirt sheet friends for not taking the information they're fed by WWE and fact checking it, but the reality is every business has to deal with some form of this. And oops, our bad, Tony. WWE reported you had 100,000 people watch Collision, but when in reality, you had 300,000 people. That's our bad. We'll take that, Tony. But WWE should just leave Tony Khan alone at this point. The numbers are pathetic. Collision and Collision and Rampage are pathetic. You have to get rid of those shows. Tony needs to bunker down, fortify Dynamite, and put together 2 hours of solid wrestling a week. You do not need 3 television shows with the AEW roster right now. You know, and now Tony Khan came out and said he paid for an independent study because of WWE robots that are on Twitter planting stories. I'm not a robot, Tony. And I'm talking about it. I don't know what you're looking for. What you need to do is go pay for an independent study on how to book a pro wrestling company to engage casual wrestling fans. Because what you're doing right now is you're doubling down, calling yourself a sicko, doing all of these booking decisions that appeal to one subsection of a wrestling audience that speaks real loud on Twitter, but they are not the people who buy the t-shirts. They're not the people who buy the tickets to your shows. And you're learning really quickly that you can double down to that audience, but that 600 to 700,000 range watching Dynamite, that's what's going to live there when you speak solely to the IWC. So when you break 1 million a week, Tony Khan, I'll start listening to your complaints and what you have to say. But right now, as far as I'm concerned, you're competing with TNA in NXT, and that's it. Keep WWE's name out of your mouth. You're not competing with the big boys anymore. You've now moved down to that third tier rung of wrestling, so keep your mouth shut and just learn your place. So reports were circling around today that Roman Reigns' Jordan Bloodline shoe has been canceled. The issue I have here is this is, we talk about shady business practices, but I can just imagine this is probably the Young Bucks sitting in their mom's basement typing away about, Roman Reigns' shoes got canceled, trying to skew the numbers because their Reebok Walmart clearance aisle shoe didn't sell like they imagined it was. Go figure that. Go figure that nobody wanted to buy Reebok pumps from the Young Bucks. Imagine how embarrassing it has to be for the Young Bucks to have a Reebok shoe that is going to end up on the Walmart clearance aisle, all while Roman Reigns, the epitome of everything the Young Bucks can't stand because he's an athlete turned wrestler turned megastar who got a exclusive Jordan brand shoe. Imagine, get this, the IWC is now running around claiming that the Jordan shoe is not even Roman Reigns. The IWC is running around saying that Nike already had a Bloodline themed shoe before Roman. There's been no official announcement that these shoes are in conjunction with each other. Here's the problem, guys. IWC, you don't understand. This is called an unofficial partnership. This is two companies that saw an opportunity, Roman Reigns, Nike, Jordan. They said, hey, we've got the biggest thing in pro wrestling. He's got something called the Bloodline. We've got a group of shoes called the Bloodline. We can clearly mirror this together and make this work. We don't need to put official branding on it. IWC, it makes it cooler if it doesn't have a giant Young Bucks sticker on the side. And the IWC will try anything at this point to discredit Roman Reigns. They will try anything to discredit WWE. The reality is you've got one shoe that's going to end up, at these sneaker expos being sold for thousands of dollars, and you have one shoe that's going to end up in the Walmart clearance aisle. There's no comparison. Stop trying to compare apples to oranges. And stop trying to act like this isn't going to happen. Roman Reigns is going to have a shoe. It's going to be a Jordan, and it's going to sell like crazy. I have a final question for the IWC, and this isn't on any particular wrestling story, but I have a question for the IWC. How much do you think we need to watch AEW as casual fans to be able to tell you guys it's a mess? Because I follow it on news sites, I get clips through social media, I get updates from friends on Discord. I feel qualified enough now to speak on how much of a mess the product is. Yet every time I open my mouth and I talk about AEW, I get told that I don't watch enough, that I'm not paying close enough attention, that I'm missing the point of AEW. Look, I get it, guys. I get it, IWC. There are great segments on AEW. There's some bright lights. There are the MJFs. There's the Roderick. There's great things to watch, but the problem is it's all compiled between a jumbled mess and a dumpster fire of other bullshit that I don't want to watch. A bunch of wrestlers that I don't recognize. I have never seen a group of fans like the IWC who care so much about what strangers like me think about the product they watch. They get so offended when we talk about it. If someone doesn't like WWE, guess what? I just keep scrolling. I just go to the next video. I don't engage with the topic. But what we do here, IWC, is we're trying to create conversation. We're trying to give an open forum for you guys to talk back to us and explain to us what we're missing, not to just flat out try to tell us you're wrong because you don't watch enough to understand. I know I do watch enough. I've watched AEW. I've watched it consistently for weeks at a time, and there's been times where I don't watch it and I consume it through news sites, friends, social media clips, and there's no difference. It is what it is. The truth is, I can see a flawed product whether I'm watching all of it or whether I'm picking up clips. No different than I can speak about basketball by watching one basketball game and tuning into the highlights from another basketball game. I'm still able to form an opinion on it. The problem is, IWC, It doesn't matter how much a casual fan watches. It doesn't matter if we watch 3 months in a row. If we have a differing opinion, you guys are going to be upset with what we're saying. You guys don't want any criticism on your product. The difference is, for casual fans like myself, if you guys want to talk bad about WWE, more power to you. Go ahead and talk bad about it. But the truth is you guys, based on pure facts, you guys are watching the 3rd or 4th best wrestling show on television. That's pure fact. You can't spin it any other way, right? It's Monday Night Raw. It's Friday Night SmackDown. Those are 1 and 2. You guys are flip-flopping with NXT, and TNA's on the come-up. So the reality is you guys are sitting somewhere down there 3, 4, 5, and you enjoy it, and that's okay. I don't care. But you guys have to live with that. You can't be so upset when we give an opinion to create conversation, and it doesn't align with what you want to hear. AEW is the inferior product, and that's okay. It's okay that you like the inferior product. You don't have to defend it. Just enjoy being a fan of the 3rd, 4th, or 5th best wrestling show on TV and be happy. But let me know your thoughts on today's episode in the comments. And while you're at it, make sure to join the Casual Wrestling Discord and Casual Wrestling Club. The link is in the description of both of those videos. Thank you guys, as always, for taking time to hang out. Leave comments. I'll try to respond to as many comments as possible. As soon as we get going live, those comments can be YouTube chats and we can continue the conversation. But for now, that's all I got. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm out.